You know, it's funny. A lot of the people that I know from back home, in Massachusetts, right? And I'm from Massachusetts, and they're all, anytime there's a mass casualty event with a a pew pew jammy there, um, they always go right to banning or removing the Second Amendment and blah 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 blah, and and I remember feeling that way when I was growing up in Massachusetts, right? Because you don't have a lot of access to firearms, right? You don't see a lot of them. There's not a lot. You know what I mean? They're harder to get. You have to jump through some hoops here and there, and depending on where you are, they're probably harder or easier to get as well, and I'm sure social economical standing has something to do with that as well. So you don't really see a lot of them, So I understand, because basically in the minds of most, you know, people that consider themselves on the left in Massachusetts, the guns are basically banned for them, right? They don't see them. They're not in their everyday life. Law enforcement has them, and they're okay with that. They're like, oh, it's okay for them to have it, unless, of course, they shoot an unarmed person running away. Then it's not good. But other than that, they're okay with just the government having the weapons, right? Because that's basically what it feels like in Massachusetts. Only law enforcement, only the military, only troopers, blah blah blah. They have weapons, that's it. The further you get away from like the coast, you might have some more of that culture of hunting and trapping and fishing and things like that. So you'll more outdoorsy stuff. So you'll see them, or at least you'll hear them. That's for sure. But yeah. So I got to remember this. I got to stop commenting on shit, and I don't mean. I really I don't even think I was being rude, but someone's like, I'd rather ban the Second Amendment than second graders. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, how was this person stopped again? You know what I mean? They didn't run out of ammo, right? I mean, someone had to take them out, probably through the Second Amendment. I'm just saying, so I got to stop. I guess I live in New Hampshire now. You know what I mean? You hear guns. Everybody around me has them. You see people with them on them. It's like living out in New Mexico. You know what I mean? When I lived out right outside of Santa Fe and hung out in Santa Fe in that area. There was a lot more handguns and rifles and shotties and all that stuff. And when you they're not as scary. I was fearmongered, like they're like, oh, the guns, and there was like billboards of banning this saves lives and New Hampshire sucks, and they had that whole banner across over by Fenway Park, right on the highway, of like all the bad guns come from New Hampshire, and we were like, oh, fuck that, it's crazy, all these guns. But like I said, they were basically banned in Massachusetts, so you get used to that and you think, yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, I didn't see anybody get shot when I was living there, and when I went to school, and blah 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 blah. Not thinking that I mean, it's just I get it. I was there. I understand.